In Alice in Wonderland, the caterpillar asks, "Who are you?" I hardly know, sir, just at present," Alice replied rather shyly. "At least I know who I was when I got up this morning, but I think I must have changed several times since then." So I have a question for you. Who are you? How do you define yourself? Titles are part of our identity. Think of all the titles that you would give yourself or that others have given you. There are many. There are familial titles like son or daughter, brother or sister, spouse, partner, parent, grandchild or grandparent. There are work-related titles. Maybe you're a respiratory therapist, a consultant, a business owner, an engineer, a teacher, a paraprofessional. There are titles related to a hobby, like being a scrapbooker or a crafter, being a fisherman or a CrossFit enthusiast, or a grill master. Maybe your title is defined by the stage of life you are in, a student or a retiree. The titles you share when you introduce yourself to someone tell that person something that's important to you. These titles are also socially constructed, meaning that they are given because of your connection to someone or something else. In Lent, we are talking about coping with loss. It is hard to go through loss because you often lose a title when you lose someone or something significant and a way of identifying yourself. You may start to feel like Alice in Wonderland. I knew who I used to be, but I'm not sure who I am at present. After our daughter, Helena, died almost 14 years ago, there was a time when I dreaded being in social situations with new people. A common question people ask is, "Do you have any children?" They didn't know they were stepping on an emotional landmine. In a split second, I had to weigh if this was someone I'd ever see again, so that I could just say, "Nope, no children," and then internally feel like I was betraying my daughter. Or I could say, "Yes, but our daughter passed away." And then I'd have to endure that person feeling embarrassed or feeling bad for asking me something that led to a painful answer. The title of bereaved mother was an unwanted title, and it was hard to grow into. After Helena died, my life no longer revolved around diaper changes and bath time and reading cardboard books, watching Dora the Explorer, or checkups with our daughter's pediatric cardiologist. I loved being a mom and didn't like trading that title for bereaved mother. When you go through a significant loss of a person, of a job, or of a physical ability, it is a struggle to become something new. And whether you like it or not, your new identity is socially constructed too, shaped in connection to other people. Relationships need to get renegotiated. Even going through a good change is hard, like taking on a new job, getting sober, or having a child. In John chapter 9, a blind man goes through a good change, but he still needs to figure out who he is and deal with all the people around him who can't accept him or how he came to have sight. So here is a recap of John chapter 9. First, Jesus' disciples point to a blind man and ask Jesus, "Who sinned, this man or his parents?" It was a common understanding at that time that sin caused disabilities. Then Jesus puts mud on the man's eyes and gives the man the ability to see, even though it should be noted that the man doesn't ask for this. Then other people see the formerly blind man and have all sorts of opinions on if it is the blind guy who used to beg that they're accustomed to, or a guy that just looks like him. And the man has to keep telling people, "I was the guy, that's me, I'm the same guy." The man, we never learn his name, is brought before the religious leaders. They essentially put him on trial for something that he didn't even ask for. The man tells the story of his healing again, and he has to sit there while the leaders get into a fight about Jesus' identity. Jesus broke a rule by healing on the Sabbath, so Jesus is bad, some said. But he did an act of compassion, so Jesus is good, others said. The man's parents are questioned. Is this your son that was born blind? They confirmed that it was their son and that he was born blind, but they didn't want to weigh in on Jesus for fear of the authorities, so they pushed it back on their son. The formerly blind man is brought back to the religious leaders again, and they asked him what happened again. And he said, I've told you before, I was blind, but now I see. Why do you keep asking me? Do you wish to be a Jesus follower too? Maybe this guy Jesus is from God. The leaders said, you're a sinner. Your opinions don't count. Get out. This is literally what they say. Seriously, you should go home and read chapter 9 and just enjoy how ridiculous it is and how crazy people are in this. But after all the back and forth, Jesus finds this man and reintroduces himself, and Jesus knows who he himself is and is comfortable in his own identity, and Jesus accepts the man whether he is blind or seeing. When the man meets Jesus again, he realizes that he has gotten to know Jesus and himself better by going through this process of arguing about who he is. The story is brilliant. No one was letting this man become who he is. They all have opinions on what's most comfortable for them. They prefer the blind beggar that they used to ignore, and they prefer a Jesus who does not make them look at their own behaviors. All the fighting and the backing and forthing give the man a chance to figure out who he is, and it gives him a chance to see how Jesus is different than all these others. He finds his own voice, and by the end of the chapter is found by Jesus as well. In this fourth week of The Struggle is Real, the fourth tool that I share is finding your identity after a loss. So the question is, who am I now? Or who am I becoming? When I think about all of my titles, wife, mother, pastor, bereaved mother, the only one that hasn't changed since the day of my baptism is child of God. Whether I've gone through losses or gains, that one stays the same, and it is an anchor that I can cling to as I wrestle with who I am becoming in each age and stage of life. I hope you can claim that title too. Amen.